Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. This is the Monday night Zoom edition, and we've had some very interesting activity in Bitcoin and the news over the weekend and today. Let's get started. We'll check the Bitcoin chart. All right, it's the 5 minutes. Let's go to the day chart. All right, you guys see my Bitcoin chart okay?
Yes.
All right, good. So we finally got some progress out of this, off this this bottom trend line, the bottom of this channel I drew several weeks ago. It seems like maybe even months. I think I first drew it over here in May, maybe it was June, but regardless, it was just trolling around the bottom, and then it bounced up nicely over the weekend. So we've got a little bit of momentum. On the 4 hour, Bitcoin obliterated the descending channel I had here. So I drew this red line a little while ago, a new trend line, to see if it can bounce. You know what? I put this in the wrong place. It's a pessimistic line. We should make an optimistic line. What was I thinking? I've been shorting too much. That must be it. No, actually I was about 50-50 today. Yeah, so see if we can punch through this, and there's quite a bit of resistance. Let's go back to the day chart around 42. Got some resistance here, and then 42 is where my Fibonacci sweet spot is. You know, actually 42.6, 46.7. So I'm really hopeful for a return to this area, and that should bring up the markets considerably. On the 1 hour, it was pumping nicely till about 12:30. We were over 40,000, and then just kidding. Correction. Sellers came in, took some profits. Can't be too critical of that, but we had a drop, 9% in about 3 hours. So as you can see, we're at 37.3 now. It's still a really nice increase from where we were towards the end of last week. So I'm not sure if I'd call this bullish yet, but we're on a pretty good. It's a good start. So on the 5 minute, it's kind of it was in a 1-2-3 dip earlier, and I was shorting a couple coins and then took a long over here, actually on Matic. But because most of the charts look like this, we're gonna look at 6 or 7 or 10 charts, and most of them are gonna look like this. So we had the pump up here and the big drop. See, it punches through the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Get a 1, 2, 3, 4. We had a 1 through 4 dip on a lot of coins. Then we got a nice candle here, and it kind of went up and down sideways for a while and came up a little bit, about a 1%, then dropped again. Mostly going sideways now. I was in a long over the weekend, John, on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and did pretty well on those. So
that's funny. We've been hearing about your shorts. So.
I know I have a weekly to-do item at I don't know, 3 or 4 o'clock. Actually, it's right after this. My Friday Zoom at 4 o'clock. It chirps up and says Friday afternoon shorts. So after my Friday afternoon Zoom, I looked at, I was looking at the charts. It's like, this looks long to me. So, and a couple people I follow, CryptoFace and the crypto banter guys, they were long as well. So I thought I'll do a small long position and see what happens, and both of them panned out. So that was fun to actually be long over the weekend and have it pan out. So let's see, Ethereum on the day chart, it punched through my triangle. Let's make that bigger on the day chart. So I might have to change that into a channel. We'll see what happens I'll probably update these before Friday's Zoom. The 4 hour, getting almost a Bart Simpson there. Square head. And you can see it a little bit better here. Looks pretty similar to Bitcoin. So like to see a recovery and a bounce back up on this one as well. We've talked before, the crypto banters guys talk about it a lot. You know, a coin will break through resistance, come back and retest, and then hopefully bounce back up. That's what we're looking for. So any questions on Bitcoin and or Ethereum before we look at Altcoin Alert? All right. What does Altcoin Alert have for us today? I was looking at this morning and also a little while ago. BitTorrent has been up here the whole time, BTT. I'd originally kicked this off my list because the volume had dropped considerably, but it's come roaring back. So let's see, let's put that back on Bitcoin and we'll look at BTT on this one. Okay, as I mentioned, big pump, big drop. Well, actually, let's take the big picture look first. I actually haven't seriously traded this because I haven't done anything with it since July on my charts. Had the big pump back in April, down 84%. Came up a little bit, then dropped again. It's just pretty much today starting to come back up. It's still 77% down from its high in April. The hour chart, again, just the recent big pump. So do we have an entry here? So we had a 1, 2, 3 dip this afternoon. 1, 2, 3, and a really good one. You know, not much of a squeeze before because it was so high and that created a big bubble on the high side, but slight squeeze and then a big bubble on the downside. And after the third dip, catch it right about here. Could have got about 2.5%. You know, to be honest, I would have set my sell order probably around here and I'd still be in it. I'd be looking for around 3%. So had I caught that, I still would be in it. Do we get in now? No, I don't think so, not yet. It's starting to squeeze together. That could be indicative of another dip sequence. So if you're interested in trading it, I would probably put an alert down here. This is a Bollinger Band third standard deviation. That's where I like to put alerts sometimes. Or you can just go a couple percent below the bottom Bollinger Band if you don't have this. Justin Clark at iCoinPro and some of the people over there like to add the third standard deviation on their Bollinger Band. It's pretty easy to add. If you want to know how to do it, just let me know. Yeah, it's about 5% below. So yeah, that's where I would get in. I would look to get in. I would set the alert, then evaluate what I saw at the time. Okay, any questions on BTT? All right, VGX is only on Uniswap. Telcoin is intriguing. It's on KuCoin, and I'm thinking I have a KuCoin account with no money in it, so I need to move some money over so I can trade this thing because it seems like it shows up all the time on Altcoin Alert. And it really had a nice move today. It had a really good recovery after the 1, 2, 3 dip that all the other coins went through. 1, 2, 3, actually 3, 4, kind of 4 dips here, big green candle here. So you get in here, you know, dips a little bit, hits the SMA line, which most of them didn't. You're looking at 10%. So yeah, good stuff there. But again, it's squeezing together now with a red candle. Bitcoin's just been going sideways. Might be going, it's doing the same thing. It might be going into another dip sequence. That'll affect all the other coins. So, but Telcoin is intriguing. So, all right, let's see what else. Well, actually, I forgot to do the big picture on Telcoin. Yeah, it looks a little different than some of the others, but 85% drop until last week. I think it showed up when it was going through this pump and some of this action too. So 1 hour, really strong trend up. I don't know. Most of the stuff on KuCoin is pretty low volume, which is why I don't trade it very often, but could be worth a look. The other two are only bullish, Serum and Sandbox. Sandbox had a big run last week. Maybe that was the week before. Yeah, it pumped up here a few days ago, actually, in here. I think this is one of those NFT tokens or gaming token or something like that. I think it's a gaming token. And it's at an all-time high, a few days ago. So it could be due for a retrace. Let's look at the hour chart. Yeah, this is interesting. So if you catch it down here, you could retrace this 15 to 20%. I like that. It's a bit risky to hold out for that much. Let's day trade it. This looks different than most of the other charts we've been looking at. So this was the run up. Dropped here. It really hasn't come back, but it hasn't hit the bottom of the Bollinger Band either. So that's sort of interesting. This might just curve and punch through the SMA line.
I've been watching the NFT coins just because I don't understand them at all.
I don't really either.
But they certainly don't seem to be correlated to Bitcoin or Ethereum.
That's my favorite thing about them.
They're just going off on their own, and they're like Beanie Babies to me. I don't know what the hell that people are doing.
Beanie Babies, Cabbage Patch Kids, and
all that nonsense
from the 80s and 90s.
Crypto. But I don't know. If you figure it out, you should let us know.
Well,
they're certainly non-correlated.
Yeah, agreed. And the gaming tokens are different though. This is Sandbox and Axie, AXS.
Yeah.
People pay money, contribute money and play games and get rewarded in crypto, and that's a thing. People do that. I think it doesn't really appeal to me, but if people like video games and can make money at it, that shouldn't have anything to do with Bitcoin. So
right.
But that might explain why Sandbox looks didn't take the big hit that the other ones did. It did.
Well, the other thing it's like the stocks that like blew up, 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is like all the people who buy stocks didn't see that stuff coming. The BlackBerry and the what was the other one?
Was it AMC Theaters? Was that the one?
Yeah, all that stuff. We just came out of the blue, and it was because there were all these people playing the game that weren't usually playing the stock buying, that weren't usually in it.
I think those
were caught with their pants down or with their shorts down. So
literally,
I think this is kind of the same thing. It's like people who are not into crypto are suddenly like buying this stuff and not looking at what Bitcoin's price is. They're just like, oh, I heard this is a cool game, and I'm going to make $1 bazillion.
Yeah.
But,
so that that makes sense for Sandbox.
I can't figure it out. But I can't figure out a way for me to like take advantage of that.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't appeal to me. But if there's a market for it, people are willing to pay money and buy crypto, because they like it. Then you know, it's not going to have any correlation to any kind of charting or you know, Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything like that. So
Back to Beanie Babies.
so
All
with
right.
that in mind, you know, this could easily, I would wait for an uptrend and try to catch this to, you know, going back, you know, to apply some sort of charting to it. You might want to wait for a, you know, bullish or bearish, bullish divergence. You know, I've got one here. It did go down from there, but did go up pretty strongly too. So yeah, that one caught too. I think I've mentioned this the last couple of times. I'm looking to trade these divergences more. I'm still learning about it. So I can't find an indicator to give me an alert right when it happens. You know, if I set an alert on this, you know, it's really cool. It gives me this RSI divergence. I can set bull or bear, you know, once per close. But the problem is I don't get the alert till 20 or 30 minutes later, and then it's too late. So, and that's consistent with the 3 of them I've tried. But I digress. Let's see, Altcoin Alert. Any questions on sand? Let's look at, do an Elder Impulse search or sort. So you might remember from prior Zooms, we're looking for bullish on the daily and the long-term sentiment. We've got that for Terra Luna. I was looking at this a little while ago. Looking for an AA score of neutral or better. Positive, preferably on trading activity, you know, or social activity. Well, preferably trading. Social is a lower priority for me. I'm usually hoping for 5% or more for the 1 hour projected range, but 344 is kind of close, so I might check it out. Hasn't had a huge pump today, so let's give Luna a look. See if that's something we want to check out. So, wow, right, we were talking about this. It just pumped up like, look, the sandbox is crazy. Pumped up 6% in like 90 seconds. So, anyway, Luna is a more reasonable token. So, it's been recovering the last few days. It had its high back in March. 1 hour slow upturn over the weekend. The last few days before that, big pump today, then drop here. And let's look at the 5-minute. All right, we had the dip sequence early this afternoon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got in here. Could make 2%, but it did trail off. Never hasn't really punched through and sustained through the SMA line, which is trending down pretty hard. It's really squeezy here. Makes me think it's going to dip again, but we do have 2 green candles. I would wait for some more definitive action than this. Yeah, I'm not even sure what to do with this. Maybe set an alert down here if you want to trade it, or down here and try to catch another dip sequence like this. If you get some couple candles working their way above the SMA line, and if Bitcoin cooperates, then that could be, you know, a trend trade, possibly to come back to this this region here. But to make that happen, Bitcoin would probably have to punch through 39, 40K again. Got a chat. All right, Crypto Dude is telling me about the pivots. I've seen that. He's telling me about the pivots in the divergence setting. So I'll have to look at that again. I did look at that and see if I can change that or if I'm stuck with it. So Anyway, Luna. So not sure what to do with that yet. Don't like that squeeze. So I think I'll move on from that one. We were talking about Axie a little while ago. We got bullish on the daily and neutral on the long-term sentiment. Neutral, normal. This is almost 5%. Trading activity is good on their assessment, but it's down about 10% today. Well, since we were talking about it a little while ago, let's give it a look.
I wonder if it's neutral because it's already climbed so much that Altcoin Alert has seen.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know. It's back down a little.
Let's see. All right, day chart. Yeah. We looked at this. I think we looked at it on Friday. That's why it's still there. That's my Fibonacci extender because it was at an all-time high, and that's how you can sometimes determine how to trade an all-time high if you want to do that. I don't do it very often, but it's mostly still in play. Well, it did hit the 1.272 and then dropped again. So that's sort of interesting. Does anybody want me to go through this again? I went through it on Friday, but okay. On the 5-minute.
So it looks like you would have if you had taken that, you would have gotten in just before the 1.2, right below that line. You said you put your stops right before the 1.272.
Yeah, I think this is where it was when we were looking at it, though.
So how much of a percent would that have been?
So that would have been, 14%.
Okay,
that's good stuff.
Well, and that's not very long to hit there. It's been below that since.
It's only.
But if you had taken that trade instead of talking to us, you would have made 14%.
Yeah, I've had a love-hate relationship with Axie. I've been trading it, with leverage, and some good, some bad. So anyway, so let's see, where were we? Okay, 5-minute. Let's see, we have an entry here. Again, it's sort of like Sandbox. It didn't come all the way down and do a dip sequence. It did come down some. Actually, it went up after. Is this right? Yeah, most of the coins were dipping after this, and this one's going up. It's dropped about 8% in the last hour or so. Some candle action trending up, hanging around the SMA line. Don't like that so much. If it punches through, might get a retrace here, 5%. Cool. So I think this one could be worthwhile. Keep an eye on it, or try to catch it to come back down here. Set an alert down here around $35. See if you can catch a dip trade. So yeah, and one thing I meant to talk about before we got started today, it just occurred to me, is why did Bitcoin have this big move over the weekend, and why is it dropping today? And most of you, if you're in the CryptNation or the Altcoin Alert Slack group, some people posted some videos about Amazon and how the rumor leaked that Amazon was seriously considering accepting crypto payments of some kind. They're going to hire somebody there's a job opening for somebody to, evaluate that. It makes a lot of sense for a worldwide company to accept crypto payments because, credit card fees are like 2 to 4%, maybe a little less for Amazon due to volume, but, and then there's chargebacks if you're a retailer online accepting credit cards. And with crypto, no chargebacks. The fees are considerably lower. Especially if you're using something, like Litecoin or Lightning Network or something like that, where the fees are low. It makes a lot of sense for retailers to accept crypto. They even mentioned stable coins, so that would make sense as well. So they don't have to deal with the fluctuations as much. And then there was another posting, you know, an hour or two before this saying Amazon's just kidding. No, it's not really happening. They're not interested in taking crypto payments. So I'm not sure what the truth is, but
Nothing to see here. Move along. Move along.
well, I think, you know, rumor, just kidding, you know, that's what I think is going on here. So, but even if it's not true, or there's no timeline for Amazon to do this, or it's just something that somebody said in a meeting, it does make a lot of sense for retailers to accept at least stable coins. You know, accepting Bitcoin might be, you know, with its volatility, maybe not so much, but you know, USDC, USDT, PAX, some of those stable coins make a lot more sense to me. So that's, in my humble opinion, why I think we had the pump and the dump-ish over the last few days. So, all right, Axis, it's pumping up again. So Axis and Sandbox. Well, that's about all I have on Altcoin Alert. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to iCoinPro? All right. Let's look at RSI SPY first on iCoinPro. I like to sort by the 1 hour and try to find values either low or high, depending on whether the market's long or short. It's mostly been long the last few days. But the only one that's below 30 on the 1 hour RSI is T-Fuel USDT. I don't trade Bitcoin pairs very often, so let's go ahead and check this out. Got the drop-down menu, takes me to Trading View. And this one looks like some of the ones we were looking at earlier. Dip sequence here, it did make it all the way to the SMA line, then dropped again. So not sure if we're gonna have another dip sequence on this or not. Don't see a good entry yet. Keep an eye on it for a while. Maybe I'm looking for something like this, ideally. 1.5% is not very good. So, I mean, it's not bad, but you know, for spot trading, I'm usually looking for, you know, 2 to 5%. In the bullish-ish market we have now, usually 5% to, you know, like maybe 3 to 6%. Probably changes depending on the market as a goal. So, and then I try to take those goals into consideration with retraces. So if this went into a dip sequence and I could get it down here, you know, get back to these resistances here for 5.5%, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. All right. And then the other indicator I like to look at is the Buddy Coin Crawler. I sort from average low to SMA. The low is a 24-hour low of the coin. The SMA line, it's that pink line I just showed you in my charts. And looking for values for 5% or higher. Got a lot of them that qualify. This DEX is a new coin, as is this one, Dago Finance. I don't like to trade, you know, new coins a few days after they've been released. So I'm familiar with this, FAT, Bella. So we'll check out FAT. All right. Day chart, way behind. We had the high back in late March. 80% drop into June, recovery, just kidding, and coming back. And 1 hour chart. It's dropping like most of the other coins we've been seeing. Yeah, this looks pretty similar to what we were looking at. It's hard to determine where the trend, where the dip sequence begins, because I guess we probably started here, maybe here. We got a little bit of an indentation here where it's a little bit squeezy, but 1, 2, 3, not quite 4. Yeah, this just is not doing much. It had like a 1% recovery after the dip sequence, and now it's dropping even more. So don't like this at all. Tired looking at it. Getting rid of it. Goodbye, fat. Let's.
Those two new coins have the volume, the 24-hour volume is like 40 or 50 million. What is it you look for there? Is it 100?
Well, what we don't have here is really much price action.
Yeah.
So that's what concerns me about trading a new coin. So, this was only,
Right.
on here a couple of days ago. Now, if the coin has history from other exchanges, that's fine, but we don't have that here. Yeah, this is the only
I was
place it's
thinking
listed.
there was some volume threshold that you wouldn't look at either.
No, with a new coin, it's not a volume issue. It's a history issue. So,
Okay.
I've only got on the hour chart this much.
Mhm.
So, do I hope for a retrace to here? Maybe 26%. That would be awesome. But without much history, I don't know what it's going to do. And some of that's from experience, but there are traders, and I know there are traders in iCoinPro trading this. There's a guy named Julius who's even more of a cowboy than I am, so he's trading it. And that is one cool thing about iCoinPro is they have this forum. It's similar to the Slack group. It's not as active, but yeah, Julius, there he is, 7.6% on Axis. This guy's pretty good. And then we get the breakdown of Bitcoin every morning. It's usually earlier than this because Justin Clark's on the East Coast. So it's usually between, say, 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. and he just as always trade dips. It's kind of funny that way, but seems to know what he's doing. So, all right, so let's look at another one on the Buddy Coin Crawler. I wanted to look at that. I've actually been trading this all day today. So, yeah, it had the dip sequence, about 4 dips. And it came up a little bit, 3%, not bad. Dropped again. And looks like it's squeezing together. Not sure what it's going to do at this point. So don't want to be too repetitive. Either set alerts for another dip sequence or see if it punches through the SMA line with some force for a trend trade. I probably wouldn't try to get back here. Be looking to get, maybe right around here. Let's say catch it here. Yeah, about 3% to this resistance. A little over 5% to this one. So that would be my goal on a trend trade for VAT. So. Well, I think that's all I'm going to go over proactively for iCoinPro and Altcoin Alert. Do you guys have any coins or any coins you want me to look at, or anything else in the crypto world to chat about?
CVC did good, I guess, today.
What was that?
CVC, Civic.
CVC, Civic. Okay, I've traded that before. It's been a while. Is that still on my list? No, I kicked it off. Okay, that's kind of interesting. 5-minute chart.
Gosh,
Wow,
weird.
that is weird. What's the day chart look like? Just one big fat candle. Huh.
Guess I better look at mine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the high was back here in April. Dropped 80%, came back about 20%, dropped again, but it's killing it today.
I'll probably drop
Well, pretty much since we've been on this, it's gone up,
it.
40% in an hour. You got to love crypto, huh? I'd love it
Yeah.
more if I were in that, but yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let's see if we have some news. No, nothing. Definitely no recent news here. So, I picture, 4 or 5. No, actually, here's what I picture for any of you who've seen Wall Street. There's when
Yeah.
Gordon Gekko wants to pump up a stock, he'll call
Oh, yeah.
some people, and Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott Steel, so I'm picturing Blue Horseshoe loves Civic. Oh yeah, okay,
Right.
we'll pump that up. So that's what I wonder. The whales have that kind of conference call or something like that, or text chain. Probably be more accurate. Well, you wouldn't want to put that in writing, so maybe you would. Who knows? Anyway, it seems random to me, but yeah, Civic's pumping now. If you're in it, then you've got some nice gains. So
Yeah, for
as far as
now.
the trade now, hell no, way too late.
Oh, yeah.
Any other coins?
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss the email?
Yeah, we will talk about that after the recording. So
Okay,
that's sort
another
of
venture.
another venture. Yes.
Yeah, CJ,
Mm-hmm.
can you hear me?
I hear you,
Oh,
Robert.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is more of a general day trader or philosophical question,
Okay.
maybe as to your approach, because I'm still trying to figure out how to approach this. Do you look at this day trading as, let's say you have one pot of money, well, let's just call it $20,000 just to do some math.
Okay.
And do you spread that out throughout the day or two with these trades that you're doing, and divide it into just a small amount of coins, let's say 4 coins, and then you kind of like shoot your load like within the day or two, and then keep rotating that amount of money and keep building it? Or I mean, do you have a general approach on how you spread your funds out?
When I was doing only spot trading, I would look at probably 15 to 20 coins a day, and I don't recommend this, which is why I don't do it anymore. And I would usually start, if I liked a setup, I'd go in with maybe 8 to 10% of my balance as my first position. If I had to ladder buy, then I do the same thing, and I tried to keep enough money to ladder buy my positions if I needed to, and to if something, if a news item came up, or there was a sig dev on Altcoin Alert or something like that to get into, I'd have some money for that. So with that in mind, I wouldn't put more than 8 to 10% in any initial position. Now that I'm more into leverage, I'm focusing on, I pick 4 coins a day, and I work those up with my alerts. Usually something with the RSI or divergence or 1, 2, 3 dip. I traded all those today. I made about 12 trades. I don't think I involved more than 20% of my balance in any of them. So I almost never have half my balance into a bunch of trades, let alone 100%, like you just mentioned. When I get more confident in leverage, I will raise. Right now I'm using about 10% of my balance in each trade. I'll probably raise that to 25% and utilize, or maybe 15 to 20%. Depends if I decide to utilize ladder buying or not in leverage, which is a kind of dangerous, and I've been burned a couple times. I'm on the fence on that. So I don't think it's a good idea to put your entire balance in at any time. It sometimes works out that way. If you ladder buy a bunch of stuff, maybe 4 or 5 positions and they don't pan out and you're stuck. The dreaded word stuck day traders use. That's where you're in spot trading, you're maybe 10 to 20% down. It's not enough to dump the position, but you're close enough to hang in there. And especially if it's a quality project, if it's something like, Link or Matic or something like that, that you're pretty confident is going to come back, then, you'd stay in. Sometimes, but there's opportunity cost for doing that. Sometimes you can't trade, or you have to trade with less than you want to because of that. So my answer was all over the place. Does that help you at all, Robert?
No, that totally helps. Yeah, well, I made the mistake of unfortunately, I put too much into some of my what were supposed to be short trades early on, things like Doge and a few other things, Dash, EOS, and unfortunately they all went down, and now I've decided to just sit on them, and so now I'm debating if I should start all over again with a new pot of cash, if you will, just for day trading, because that was theoretically my day trading, but little by little I put into things that weren't working, and I rode them out, which was a newbie mistake, I realized. But
yeah, there's some value in having separate accounts for separate approaches. I've got my Binance account for day trading, and I've got another Binance account for a little bit longer trading. It was originally for swing trading, and then I've kind of moved it over to like 2 to 3 day leverage trading. So just depends what strategy you're doing and if you want to keep watching something all the time or not. So yeah, it's all in the area of money management, managing your balance, trying to figure out what your priorities are. And if you don't need the money to create money in the short term, then you can be a little more aggressive, and think more long term. But for me, day trading is part of how I pay my bills. So I've got to generate money at least every couple days.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a good answer. I appreciate it. Another general question. I saw a Pizza Mind on the chat, I think within the last day or so. He mentioned an exchange that I hadn't heard them talk about before that he was recommending to somebody else called CoinMetro. Are you familiar with that?
Yep, I'm on CoinMetro, and let's see, I don't think Jim's on tonight, but we talked. Quant is listed on there. That's a coin I like, QNT, and they have it, and I've bought it there, bought and sold it there a couple times. So I've got a small amount on that, and I tried it out for the same reason, because Pizza Mind liked it, and it's really easy to use. It just doesn't have a whole lot. I was spoiled with my first exchange ever was Binance, which has just about everything. So I do look at CoinMetro from time to time. So I wouldn't put a huge amount of money in there, but it's probably worth it to put some money in there and trade a few things that aren't on some of the other exchanges.
Got it.
Alrighty then. Any other questions or? Well, if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll talk about some other stuff. For those of you watching this, thank you so much for joining. Hope to see you on Friday.